Hello, everyone. My name is Mackenzie Henderson from the She's Unlimited podcast, and today we have a very special guest, an engineer, an influencer, and I think we should add an engineering ambassador to that list, Kendall Hart. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Of course, I'm excited to interview you. So, for the first question, I want to ask, what got you into engineering and how did you know that it was the right fit?
Okay, so just a little bit of background about me. I'm 24 years old. I actually just had a birthday last week or 2 weeks ago. And
Ooh, happy birthday.
thank you. And I played volleyball in college. I played volleyball all of my life. And I knew that I wanted to go to an HBCU at a pretty young age. And so throughout my career, or really my college career, um, really my high school career, let's go all the way back there because that's kind of where it started.
Yeah.
I wanted to be in the medical field. I was always in like AP classes. I always loved math and science, and I was just very intuitive and inquisitive, and I just always wanted to know why. And I'm also a problem solver. Um, and I just love helping people as well, solving problems, helping people. And going into high school, I was on the medical path. I was taking medical classes, and I actually did a rotation at a hospital, like I think my junior year. And I kind of realized then that it wasn't for me and that I had to kind of backtrack and start over. I was very squeamish, just talking to different people in the professions. I don't really like standardized testing, and I wasn't really a huge fan of school. I was really good at it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, there were a lot of like cons more so than pros. So I took a step back and started thinking, what else would I be good at? What else do I enjoy? And I looked at all those traits and all those factors of like loving math and science, always being fascinated by mechanisms and how different things move, being a problem solver. And I just started talking to like the adults in my life and the people that I respected. I started doing a little bit of research on my own, and I ended up taking a robotics class my second semester of junior year in high school, and I loved it. And I was talking to my robotics teacher. He was a former metallurgical engineer, I believe, and
Mhm.
he was just telling me about it and telling me how there's not a lot of women in that field, and how I would do great. We had a good relationship, and I was able to ask him questions and use him as a resource. And from there, the rest is history. I went to college. I majored in electrical engineering my freshman year. And that was a time period where I kind of was like doing a lot of finding myself and seeing exactly what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do engineering, but I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. So I spent that whole year going to different like research opportunities. I was like going to a lot of panels and like sitting through, talking to a lot of engineers. Some of my teammates were engineering majors, and just gathering information and data to see what I wanted to do. Then I transitioned to mechanical engineering. And then now I'm currently working in oil and gas as a designs engineer, mechanical designs engineer. So,
Wow, that is a really impressive story. I feel like everybody feels like they need to have it all figured out whenever they're in high school. So
mhm.
it's really interesting to hear that you switched the whole career and you found what you wanted to do and succeed in it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think it's never too late to change your mind, and you
Yeah.
never really have to have it all figured out. There's no time limit for it. So it's just finding what you like and what you're comfortable with and what you're good at.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
So, as you guys see, today's episode is titled Women in Male Dominated Fields. So, as a woman in a male dominated industry, what challenges have you faced and how have you overcame them?
So I think, and just to preface, I've only been in my field per se for about a year and I think 5 months now. But obviously, I've been through college, and that's still, where I was a minority. And for me, I feel like I'm a minority in race and gender. So it's like two things working against me. And even just starting back from college and taking my courses, I was always the only girl in the study groups. And
Yeah.
Even right now, like on my team, I have a team at work. There's about 15 of us. I'm one of two girls. And on my last team, when I first started, I was the only girl, really woman, the only woman. And so the most challenges that I've faced are not really from like a tangible something happening or somebody saying something mean to me or something that you can like a situation. It's more so like internal feelings. I deal with like a lot of imposter syndrome, especially just being around men all the time and not really being able to relate in a lot of aspects. You feel kind of out of place or uncomfortable a lot of times. So kind of just your own internal uncomfortability really is like my main challenge. And
Yeah.
I found that by overcoming that, or how I overcome that, is really just remembering to be myself and like find little things to do to, make it me and have my identity still be me in my job and in my field. So like for instance, I've decorated my office and it's like, pink and cute and girly. And just unapologetically being yourself still. Like everybody else's tape measure is black or brown, mine is pink. I find little things that I enjoy. Like I have my affirmations up. Even like just the little things. It really is the little things. Like my mouse on my computer is pink. I have like a nice profile picture on my team's picture. It's not like me fishing or, different things that maybe the guys are into. And yeah, just remembering that I'm here for a reason. And yes, it is a male dominated industry, but there are women, and also finding your allies, and finding mentors and, the women, because there's not a lot of us, but there are a few of us. So kind of leaning to them and using them as a resource and like building those connections with the other women in your field is very important, because that helps you feel more comfortable and more at home and not like an outsider, like finding your community within your workspace. So
Yeah. You mentioned imposter syndrome. I feel like that's something that is reoccurring, and especially whenever you're going to college.
mhm.
So I just feel like I think about that all the time, especially with about to transition to college from high school. But what I think about that is if you were picked to be there, you're supposed to be there. They literally picked you out of so many people. And I feel like a lot of people watching may struggle with that as well.
Mhm. Yeah, and I definitely think that's the case with a lot of people, no matter what industry you're in. Imposter syndrome is real. I didn't even really know about it until I got into my career, into the workforce, like corporate America, because college, I was surrounded by a lot of things that brought me comfort, and that I could be my true self. Like I played volleyball. I had all my friends around me. I had a home, like, somewhere. I lived in a city where I felt kind of like it was my home, and you also have 4 years to get adjusted. You have all these resources for you. Not to say that it can't happen, because obviously some people do struggle with that. But I think more so for me, speaking personally, going into the workforce, it's like 0 to 100 very quickly. And I think you're also surrounded by a lot of people that aren't really at your same level. Like there's a drastic hierarchy in the workspace. Whereas college is like, okay, everybody's around your same age, everybody's doing the same thing, like
Yeah.
everybody's kind of like-minded in terms of their age. Whereas in the corporate America, I'm in a meeting with somebody that's 57 that's been doing this for 20 years, and they
Yeah.
know all these things and they have the corporate jargon, and they're like very well versed and they know what they're doing and very experienced. So it kind of makes you feel out of place, like, whoa, like I'm in the same spaces in the same room with this person. um,
Hmm.
and especially like I talked about being in a male dominated field, it's personal too, because it's like, okay, they're talking about guy things like hunting and fishing and all like sports and stuff, and a lot of times you can't really contribute to the conversations. And so you feel out of place like a lot of times. But to that, it's just like finding your, like I said, it's kind of the same thing, finding your identity, finding different things to relate to whenever you are talking to those people, and just kind of taking a step back and realizing like, yeah, this person knows this and that, but duh, like they've been there for so long. and just kind of seeing yourself and giving yourself time, and reminding yourself that, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Like eventually you will get there. You're more than capable. Obviously you have all the traits, because you wouldn't be here if you aren't. And stop comparing yourself to other people too, because I've done that a lot, where I may feel like I'm not doing as good because this person seems like they're further along, or seems like they're understanding it quicker than I am. And I'm like, well, why am I not? But it's like, they've been here longer. Like they might have a different learning style. Like there's so many things. And I just think it's important to like find your identity, and then don't compare yourself. Those are like really the two things that I would say to
Yeah,
kind of battle that.
that's all true. So, for people who are aspiring to become an engineer, what is a 30-second crash course of everything you need to know before you become an engineer?
30 seconds. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
I'm going to time you.
That's tough, because I think there's just so much that you have to know, and that you'll learn. And
Mhm.
it's just so broad. But okay, let me try my best. So I would tell people to do your research, and know exactly kind of what you want to do, what your interests are. So that way you're not just like picking something because the salary, or because the location. Like, make sure that you're interested in the work to some extent. I would say find your network, and networking is very important. Find your network, find your community of people, because it's really about who you know. It's about what you know too, but it's more so about who you know. Like, who you know will take you so far. Using people as resources, building your network over time, and then presenting yourself well, and then also work ethic. Like, being an engineer is not for the weak. School is hard. When you get on the job, it's to me it's less hard than school, but it's still challenging. Like, every day brings its own new sets of challenges. So I would just say, like, be prepared for that. And be ready to work through those challenges, be patient, and trust in your abilities.
Yeah,
I have so much more I want to say, but yeah, 30 seconds.
that was good. That was good. So, you mentioned that your first job out of college came with a six-figure salary. What are steps or strategies that you think helped you achieve that success so early in your career?
hmm so that's an interesting one, because I obviously want to share how my salary is, because I'm very blessed. And I really just want to say that, and making a note to say that, more so for inspiration and to spread
Mhm.
awareness. Like, this is what people that do this major can do. Like, you can get a job offer out of college and make six figures as well. Um, if I can do it, you could, like, anybody could do it. But I also don't want to let that be, I guess, the standard, because that's rare. I would rather shift the focus more towards, like, what did I do to get a job that has good benefits, that's suitable for me, and kind of what did I do to get like a good job outside of college, because
Yeah.
a good job could be you making $80,000, you making $75,000. Like, it's just up to you. And I think it depends on your industry as well. And for me, I chose oil and gas. I'm a field engineer, so there's ups and downs that come with that job. Whereas somebody might not want to do everything that I'm doing. They might want to go, and be, like, more in an office space, and be working on a team of engineers and working through projects and different things. So I guess to talk more to how I got a good job outside of college, not necessarily a six-figure salary, because I don't want younger engineers to look at that and be like, well, I didn't get six figures, did I fail? Or, striving for that. Or also just maybe thinking that the job is not good because you're not making six figures. Because I'm going to be honest, that's not the norm. You can do it. But it's not just, it's more likely that you'll be in the range of, under, you'll probably be close to it, but, under six figures sometimes. And then as you matriculate through your career, you get closer to like six figures and above, and then
Yeah.
it's going to be lucrative. But I would say having options. Like, I was very, very diligent my senior year with, like, applying, making my connections, making sure my grades were good, taking advantage of all the opportunities that there were at my campus. I was in a lot of like campus recruitment efforts. Like I would make sure if there was a company there that even piqued my interest a little bit, I would go. If there was a dinner, if there was like a panel that they would come do at my school, informational session, I was always there. I used my tools like LinkedIn, Handshake, made sure that my accounts and stuff were up to date on that. What else did I do? Talking to my advisor a lot, because a lot of times your advisors have a lot of good information, and that's kind of the middleman for like companies and schools. They'll go through your advisor, and so your advisor has a lot of opportunities for you. So just reaching out and asking for those, using my network of people that may be graduated before me that I knew, seeing if their companies were hiring or if they had any, kind of just taking it into my own hands, being very diligent. I went to our career fair. I came very prepared, like all my resumes and everything. So really just being like a go-getter and not just sitting on my hands, like waiting for things to come to me. I would explore and find opportunities, because a lot of times people say, take advantage of every opportunity, but they don't necessarily say you got to find the opportunities too, because sometimes they don't always just come to you. So yeah, really just being go-getter and, making myself have options. Obviously I got a good offer, but that wasn't my only offer. So having those options kind of helped me have a broad variety of things to choose from. Whereas, if I hadn't maybe put in the work, I might not have a 6-figure job, because I wouldn't have interviewed for a 6-figure job, so just allowing myself to have options.
Yeah, keeping the goal. And I feel like it's really important, or it's good that you did share that. I know that sometimes it can be a little bit invasive sharing your salary online or just saying a broad range of what you make, but I feel like it really does inspire people to go after the job, because that's a big thing nowadays, is how much are you going to be making, and
Yeah.
obviously the passion. But I feel like it really does serve as something that can inspire younger people to pursue engineering.
Yeah, definitely. I wish more people were transparent, like about salaries, because
Yeah.
yeah, it's important to like what you do, but obviously we wouldn't be doing this for free. Like that's the whole point of working, so you can, make a salary. So of course, I wanted to be transparent about it. But I also don't want it to be like, a negative thing that people are looking for, and focusing on just that, because you can have an amazing job that, maybe isn't paying you 6 figures, but you're enjoying it. It's in a good location. In a few years, you're going to get bonuses and raises, and you'll be at 6 figures in 2 years, so,
Yeah.
but it's definitely important.
Yes, it definitely is. So I was wondering, did you take a gap year for internships during college to prepare? Because I know that so many engineers do that, but I was wondering if you had the opportunity or decided to do that as well.
Yeah, so I actually didn't. I went straight into my career. But I will say, so for me, my situation was a little unique, because I played volleyball,
Oh, yeah.
and I've been playing volleyball my entire life. I went to college for volleyball scholarships, so I played volleyball 3 years. And so during that time, I had to like time manage, and I was like, it wasn't super demanding in the summer. I was still able to have internships, but as far as during the school year, I was constantly time managing, like missing class to go to the tournaments and the games. And then my senior year, I actually stopped playing volleyball to focus on engineering and like getting a job. And because there was a lot of things, like we were going to be in the middle of the season during the career fair, or like, I wouldn't have been able to fly out to my on-site interview because I would have been playing volleyball. And, I just needed to focus and finish strong. So in my head, that's kind of like a gap year, in a sense of like me just taking the time to focus and, focus on engineering, focus on my career, giving myself like leeway kind of to get ahead. I think just doing whatever's best for you. I don't think that it's ever good to go into a situation like, well, this is what most people do, so I'm gonna do it. Or, maybe it would be good to take a gap year because I don't know, maybe you just are feeling a little bit behind or you're overwhelmed. I think just doing what's best for you, praying about it, And, like doing a lot of thought before you do something like that. I also will say I don't necessarily think it's necessary or crucial. If you need to do it, definitely do what's best for you, like I said. But I do think that you can do your internships and stuff while you're in school as well. Just depends on kind of what your curriculum is, how many credits you're taking, different things like that. Now, I will say internships usually happen during the summer. If you're doing like a co-op where, you're doing that during the semester, now that's a different story. And that could also be a reason you want to take a gap year.
Mhm.
But yeah, it just depends. And even it just depends on what you want. If you have maybe if you're doing an internship and then they invite you to a co-op, and then that after the co-op, you have a high percentage of getting a job offer from them. Yeah, it's probably worth it to take a gap year because you're still going to be working and doing your co-op and making your money. So, why not? But yeah, I
Yeah,
just say it's up to you. Ask around, do your research, and just really think it through before doing something like that.
that's true. So, you are an engineer, content creator, and influencer, and so much more. How do you balance these roles?
Well, some days I don't know either. But I think the main thing is just time management. Like once you have that skill set down of like knowing how to delegate your time, prioritize your time for sure, is very important for me. I think that writing things down helps me as well. So like at the beginning of the week, I used to have it on my fridge where it's like a little dry erase board, but now I just either put it in my notes or something, exactly what I want to do each, like for the week, and then I'll split those up into each day. And a lot, like what I used to struggle with was like giving myself way too many tasks per day,
Mhm.
and I would just get overwhelmed, and then I end up not really getting anything done because I gave myself so much and I just don't feel like doing any of it. So yeah, just like being reasonable with your tasks, giving yourself space to actually complete the task and do them well. You will have to sacrifice. Like in college, I was literally waking up at 5 a.m. so I could study for 3 hours before my 8 a.m. and then still have time to like, have a social life and do different things after class. And like for right now, every morning I typically wake up at like, it depends. I work from home on Monday, so that's a normal wake up time. But like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, if I want to go to the gym, I'll wake up early. Like I'll wake up before work and do it. So that way after work, I can just come home and then create my content, relax and have time to myself. But really just prioritizing. Once you get into the groove of it, it's good. You just kind of have to find your groove, find what works for you. And sometimes you might have to sacrifice like a little bit of something. Like there's never going to be like a perfect world where you're not sacrificing any time on anything. And also just being smart with your time too. Like a lot of my content is created doing things that I'm already doing. So it's not really taking any extra time because it's like, all right, I'm already going to work. I'm already going to the gym. It takes like 3 seconds to sit here and flip the camera over. So, and even like for my content days, I've just learned how to like get different angles and, record all my content in one day so that way I can have stuff to post for 2 days, so
Mhm.
kind of just being smart and prioritizing and, delegating your time good.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like a reoccurring thing in this is time management, whether that be from
Mhm.
college to the job to social media. So, time
Yeah.
management is always good.
Yeah. I definitely agree.
So, through your platform, what do you hope to teach others, especially young women in STEM and people of color looking to pursue STEM careers?
So I would say just number one, showing people like representation matters. So just showing people that, you can definitely do it. Just because you're a girl, a young lady, doesn't mean that you're not capable. And also just like being confident in your own self and your abilities, taking the initiative and like being a go-getter, being ambitious, having those desires. Because I think a lot of times, you know, like I said, representation matters. So we do what we feel like we see. Like If
Mm-hmm.
I'm growing up and I'm only seeing women do a certain type of job, then of course I'm going to think, okay, well, I'm a woman, so I guess this is the job I'm supposed to do. And like for a long time with me, I didn't even know that this world of like engineering for women or just engineering in general, I didn't really even think of that as like a possibility for me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I just really want to be like the face that amongst all my other engineering women that, you know, are out there, I just want to be one of those faces that people think of and they realize like, okay, she looks like me, like I can do it, she's a woman, she's a Black woman, um,
Mm-hmm.
I can do it too. So yeah,
Yeah.
just teaching them to believe in themselves, and have confidence and just go after it. Like why not, like having a why not me mentality is kind of how I approach things. So I would love for that to like be on display and to show other young women that too.
I love how you make engineering look so appealing to our generation because I feel like that's what a lot of people are interested in and base their decisions off of things looking fun or entertaining.
Mhm.
And you will never know really what you want to do or what your passion is. I mean, that takes a lifetime to figure out, but just seeing it and being exposed to it and knowing that you do have the possibility to do it is really important.
Yeah, definitely. I think that for me, my mindset around it, because I've had, you know, conflicting thoughts, and it's something that I think about also when creating my content. Like, am I making this too appealing, or, you know, maybe should I show some of the downsides? And first of all, it's hard because I can't really show me going into the field, like for proprietary reasons and with my company. Um,
Hmm.
and I, you know, I never want to do anything to jeopardize my job. So I'm
Yeah.
not, you know, show any of the field or the nasty stuff. But I try my best because I feel like everyone already knows that engineering is hard. Like that's already the stipulation or the stigma behind it, not stipulation.
Yeah.
Is that engineering's hard. We know that, you know, it's a male dominated field. We know that, you know, that we have hard hats and uniforms and, you know, different things like that. So it's
Hmm.
like I noticed that on social media and just in general, there's not a lot of people showing the glamorous side of it. And I also think that things are what you make them. Like, yeah, you know, there's days where I'm sweaty and gross and going out to the field, but I'm also going to make it to where, you know, I have the comfort of my office and that it's cozy to me. And, you know, I'm also going to have it to where I have my things like that I'm doing that is making it more glamorous and enjoyable. And having a positive attitude and just showing the highlights around it. I also just, like I said, things are how you make it. So some of my coworkers, we all have the same amount of PTO. Some of them want to work a lot and they don't want to use any of their PTO,
Hmm.
unless they absolutely have to. And they're always constantly there. You know, they're working long hours. That's just what they choose to do. For me, it's like, well, I want to have that work-life balance. So that's what I'm creating for myself. So if I want to go to um, Mexico on next Monday, then you know I will. So of course I'm going to show that because that it really is my reality. Although there's some days that are harder and stressed out, I just feel like that's kind of a given. So I just always want to show like that glimmer of hope, especially because a lot of people that follow me are in school, either in high school or college. And it's not always like it's hard to kind of see that when you're in school, you're studying, you know, you have to have some sort of motivation to get you to the other side. And I think
Yeah.
that's what my feedback has been from a lot of my content, like people taking finals or struggling or in school. It's good to have that like refreshing side to look forward to. So, um, yeah, and just my personality. I'm not really like I'm more so of an optimist, glass half full person.
Yeah.
So it just feels more comfortable for me to show like the glamour sides. I obviously will give like disclaimers, you know, every now and again. And I've done videos that are like pros and cons of engineering and I'll tell the bad stuff. But I just feel like things are what you make it. And it's important to showcase that and, you know, give hope to others. And um, it's a really good, lucrative, nice work life balance, you know, career. So,
Yeah. That's good. So, next, this is our last section. It's
mhm.
questions from the girls, and it's just questions that girls ask, and it has nothing to do with engineering, but just from
Okay.
for advice, or
Mhm.
just what would you do?
Okay.
So, the first question is, how do you balance wanting to look like your best self while embracing your natural beauty and imperfections? Oh, and we can both answer these questions.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
You want to go first then, since you've been
Oh,
asking?
sure.
Okay.
So, I would say taking time to do extra, like just taking time to go get your eyebrows done, maybe taking time to get your lashes done if you want to, and just doing natural things that make you feel better about yourself in skincare, doing things like that, taking time to just make sure that you feel your best, even while it's still natural.
Yeah, I love that. I actually will piggyback off of that because that's something that I'm still learning, kind of how to do. And I think what you said was really important. Like, not even necessarily doing extra, but just taking care of your body. And I love how you
Yeah,
put it. That was perfectly said. Um, doing your skincare, doing your lashes. And even for me right now, like I'm learning, like I said, that you don't like as long as you're taking care of yourself, it's okay to not always have your lashes done or not always have your hair done. Like right now I'm rocking the natural slick back and mascara.
same.
Whereas like me maybe 2 years ago, I would have been like, I would have never come outside like this. I would always try to have my hair done. But it's okay. Like, I think for me, I've been learning like inner wellness, taking care of my
Mhm.
skin, like having a skincare routine, having a vitamin routine in the morning. Like, I'm taking my supplements, taking my vitamins, working out, and just having like that good platform and the base. Because if you have that and you're taking care of yourself from within, you're taking care of your skin, everything natural that you already have, if you're taking care of your hair, like, you're going to be able to feel more comfortable in your natural state with a little
Yeah.
bit of enhancements. You're feeling more comfortable because you're taking care of it. And it's like, it's the best that it can be. So it's
Mhm.
like, why wouldn't you feel comfortable?
Exactly. Yeah, I like that. So I feel like you can answer this one first. If
Mhm.
you could write a letter to your younger self about self love, what is the first thing you'd say?
I would say, based on what I've struggled with, which is just like, um, like body dysmorphia or just any type of complex that I've had about myself, I can confidently say, like, right now, I don't have anything negative about myself, I guess, that I feel. And that's like really beautiful because it took a long time, not even a long time, but it took some time to get here to where I don't like I used to when I was younger. Oh, I want to suck in. Oh my God, I don't like my stomach. I don't like this angle. Oh, I hate my nose. Like, this is too much. This is too big. This is like, I'd always like constantly critique myself and speak those negative thoughts. So I think I would just tell myself just to be kinder, give myself grace. Like, I'm beautiful. This is me. And it's like, you don't need to change yourself because I've had a lot of times where when I was younger I was constantly trying like what can I do to do this, what can I do to improve this. All you need to do is take care of yourself and present yourself, like look presentable. You don't need to change anything about you, like you just need, and you already have your natural beauty, just enhance it. I would just tell myself don't seek to change, just seek to enhance. Like, I've learned
Yeah.
how to do my makeup and put on the right clothes for my body type, and I've learned how to do my own hair. Like, I don't have to always go to somebody. I could, put in a ponytail or do something. So I've just learned how to take care of myself, and I would tell my younger self that you're beautiful, you don't need to change, and just be your best self, and that's enough. You're unique. Be confident in your uniqueness. Don't try to change to conform to look like anybody else.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like I'm still young. So, my younger self, I was like in middle school, but I
Mm-hmm.
would say that focus more on the things that people can't take away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't focus so much on things that are superficial, like how you look or what clothes you're wearing. Focus more on your school.
Mm-hmm.
Focus a lot more on school and focus a lot more on things like hobbies or just things that will never be taken away from you and that you will always have and that you can always improve on throughout your entire life.
Hmm. I love that. Yes, that's such a good point. Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, and for the last question, what is one myth about mental health that you wish more people understood, especially for our age group?
Hmm. I think that one myth I think more people understood was like just believing it in general. Like I feel like a lot of people have stigmas around like depression, or they like try to downplay a lot of things, and they think that, oh, you're just sad, like snap out of it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
or, like it's okay, like it's not a big deal, and you have all this stuff going on. Why are you feeling like this? Or, I just wish more people understood like the magnitude of it, because then I feel like more people would be able to offer resources and offer help and be more understanding, and be there for people more, instead of everybody kind of just downplay it. I think it's gotten a lot better,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I think there's still a lot of people that have that stigma of like it's just a mindset, like snap out of, so I just
Yeah.
wish people were more in tune with it and more understanding, um so that there's more of a space for like help, I guess.
But
Hmm.
no, mental health is really real and it is a thing that you need to take care of.
Hmm.
And another thing I would say is limit social media. Even
Hmm.
if you think that it's not affecting your mental health, actually take a break because it is the phone, I promise. Like if you
Yeah.
just and that emotions are fleeting, like you will not always be sad, you will not always be in a bad place. So there's always room for improvement and there's always hope for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so as well. Like that's a very good point, because like I said earlier, comparison is a thief of joy. So
Mhm.
constantly looking and thinking that, and I think both of what we said kind of goes hand in hand. Like if you don't believe that it's real, you're not going to think that it's affecting you or it's happening to you. And if
Yeah,
you don't think that social media is affecting you, like you're going to succumb to all of the consequences, because you're not like paying attention. You don't think that it's, has a toll on you. So
yeah.
yeah, that's so important.
And how you said earlier about the glass being half full, I feel like if you always have that mindset, you will always have hope and you will be like, oh, this isn't going to last for long, so I'm not even worried about it.
Yeah,
And you can have a better mindset and be happier.
I agree. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your night. Is there any last words you have for the guests? Maybe some upcoming things that you have going on?
Um, no, well, thank you for having me. This is so fun. I love like any platform that I get to just talk and speak life into people and offer
Mhm.
like my little 2 cents. I'm so excited to do it. I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
As no, you're welcome. As for me, let's see, what do I have coming up? I do have a very exciting project in 2025. So, and it's related
Ooh.
to STEM and young women and empowerment. So that'll be fun. That's coming up. So that's kind of like, there's not a date. So just like, it's like a stay tuned
Stay
thing.
tuned.
Yeah. And then as far as things that I have currently, I just started my Heart to Heart podcast on my birthday, so like a couple weeks
Ooh.
ago. And so far I've been talking about like relationships and, life in your 20s, and sisterhood and different things like that. My next episode is going to be this Sunday, and it's going to be about like career, and how to be a go-getter, like a lot of the things that we talked about right now. Maybe going more into depth on certain things. So that's coming up. It's on my YouTube, which my channel is Kendall Hart. So yes, if y'all are interested in any of those things, follow, join. Um,
Yes, I will definitely tune into that and I'll repost it so you guys can see those things as well. But thank you again for coming on, and I hope you have a good night.
yes, you too. Thank you so much.